Hey, JT, welcome back.
Thank you, Ev.
Yeah, Ghost Stories episode 2. We have our first, true guest here, and really excited about kind of diving into that story. I was, your coach, so I'm excited to hear it again. One of the first.
I think the last time I saw you, Jake, was at Rehoboth Beach.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
It's gonna be. It's
10 years
yeah, yeah. A lot of this stuff's gonna make us feel old, dude. So you gotta be careful how we go down that line.
Yep.
Do want to start, Mama Ski? Happy birthday! We're gonna hold it down for Coach Ski. They're out celebrating. So
yep, happy birthday, Patty.
Yep, that's pretty cool right there. So one thing I definitely want to do, and I know we talked about it offline, but we got a lot of DMs, a lot of text messages, just love. It's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, it was awesome, man.
Doing this for fun, right? And to have everybody kind of hit us up and say, I can't wait to hear more, and excited that our first guest, I think, is going to bring more, which is cool. But just wanted to,
it was awesome.
Everybody.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, and we got a lot of questions, and keep them coming. I want everybody to keep them coming, right? Like even for you guys, and keep the questions coming. One question I want to start with before we really get to Jake, which is why we're here. One of the questions I got, and I wanted to dive in with you quick, and you'll eventually answer your part of the question, is they said, Coach Ev, how did you know New Haven was the school for you? And
it's a great question.
Like, yeah, it is. And it's a hard-hitting and vague question at the same time. And I'm like, damn, at first I'm like, whatever. I don't really care about that question.
Yeah.
Actually,
you really start to think about it. You're like, why did I choose New Haven?
Right.
Why did I choose Albany?
Right. And it brought me to a couple fun things, right? So, I did go from a D1 verbal commit to a D2 actual sign.
Where was that? UNCG?
Yeah, UNCG. Yeah. So, and this will be probably something that you went through too. And that phone call I had to make to a Division I program to tell them
a really good Division I program.
It was the first time I ever had to make a real adult thing out of nowhere, right? And dude, it took me 48 hours to muster up the phone
Bite
call.
the bullet
and you know what? What a great guy. Ev, good luck, man. I hope everything, works out for you, dude. You know where to find me. And I'm like, it's only 48 hours for him to say 11 words back, but they were all great words. It was but hey, on to the next one, right? I was a number.
Oh yeah, and that just shows you that the coaches love when you're honest and straight up with them.
Yep. And again, he understood what I was up against at that program. So, then you fast forward to UNH, and it was that culture. It was a family atmosphere that everybody knows. I don't throw that word family around too lightly.
Yep.
So we had talked about a story before that the day, and you don't even know this probably, the day I actually went up to sign at New Haven, the coach that recruited me, he was the associate head coach, not Porky, not the legendary guy. But everyone was out in front, and they're like, yo, have you still signing? You still signing? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm here to sign. I'm excited. They go, Lambert again left or got fired. I won't put news out there.
Who was asking that? The players?
Oh, the players. They wanted me to be there. That's the reason why I was there. Dude, after my visit, after my workout, they were texting me, keeping in touch.
What was that, junior year going into senior? Yeah, because that's what it was back then.
That was early signing.
Yeah.
Not these crazy 2 years in advance, 3 years in advance, but for the players to be reaching out, for 20-year-old dudes to be reaching out, that's only going to play with me for 1 year, saying, I want you to come here, I want this culture of winning to continue. That meant everything to me. It made me realize location super important. I had a ton of fun, dude. UNH, you go downtown with Quinnipiac, Sacred Heart, SoCo. You just have fun. I like that life.
Was that bar there called Bar? Was it there?
Oh hell yeah, that was fun. That was fun, and it's pretty.
Was that
cool.
Famous hamburger place there?
I don't know. Not hamburger. It would be pizza, bro.
No, yeah. There's a famous hamburger place there now. The reason I know that is just because I went to one of the kids I went to Albany with lives in Cheshire, Connecticcut now. Sometimes we went down there, and they had this famous burger place. I don't know the name of it.
Dude, they know how to eat over there, man. So they know how to eat and party and baseball. So, man. So when people ask me how did you know that was where you wanted to be? The baseball program just engulfed me, man. The culture, the winning, the opportunity to extend my career. I had pro looks, we'll get into that at some point, and all that fun stuff. And New Haven offered that to me. I had guys that I was really close with sign, deals and all that.
And if
stuff.
you have upperclassmen trying to recruit you, that just shows you everything about the culture.
It means everything, because a lot of times they're at foot out the door,
and especially if you could be taking their position.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah.
So then I'll ask you then, right? How did Albany? How did you know Albany was?
The reason I chose Albany State School.
Yep.
Got scholarship, so you're cutting off half of that already. I think back then it was $18,000 for everything. The location was key, 3 hours. I could still drive home whenever I wanted. Parents could come watch the games. And the main reason was the coach said I could play opening day.
Yep, yeah.
And that's definitely what I want to hear, because when you play college baseball, you want to play.
We use the word play.
That's the main thing. Yeah. I didn't want to go to a school and sit there for 2 years and play my junior year. No, what's the point?
Right.
I want to go opening day and play, and that's what I did.
And what we talk about on episode 1, and we'll continue to talk with you, this is a good transition to you too, is expectations, right? So as long as we're under the same idea of what you're getting yourself into, I support you, bro. I got your back. But if you think you're going to go to a Monmouth and as a freshman, hey, I'm going to get conference innings and I'm going to dominate Clemson in a non-conference game, hey, maybe we got to reset your expectations. So now we're here for you, not the old guys talking anymore, right? So Jake Fraher, was one of, and some guys down the road will get mad because I may not say this about them, but you were one of my favorite players, right? You did so many things so well, and one of the stories we'll get into in a minute is what kind of got you recruited from a different school. So one of my favorite players, a coach, one of my favorite stories, because again, unique. We were talking about it off air. This is a super unique story. So what the first thing we always ask is how? How did you first get seen? What was the beginning of your recruitment process like?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I was originally committed to Catholic.
As a what?
As to play the middle infield.
Yep.
Wow.
All my offers out of high school were to play middle infield.
Yep.
I think
Catholic's D3, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Division 3 school.
And, top 10 in the country.
Well, all my offers out of high school were D2, D3. I think I had like 6 or 7 to play the middle infield.
Where'd you go to high school?
Garden City High School.
Nice.
So then I also pitched, like, even for Ev in B1 and whatever. Like, I was just the guy who, like, I don't know.
Little reliever coming in there late in the game to get it out.
All of a sudden, you're breaking my thumb in here running a 2-seam, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, wow, this kid can pitch.
Going on, yeah.
So then in high school, I just kind of became our closer. Had a very good year. Ended up leading the county in saves. And then towards the end of that year, first week of May, we were playing New High Park at New High Park High School. They had a kid who had some Division I looks, ended up going to FDU. The coach from Monmouth was there to recruit him, and I ended up coming in that game. Struck out the side on 12 pitches.
Heavy 86.
I think that day I was like 83, 85, and that story goes from there.
And that's what we talked about last week.
Yep.
They're not always there to watch you.
Nope, not. That guy, he had probably no desire to watch some kid from Garden City come in and close, and you just did what you normally do, and that led to Coach calling me and the conversation, and the fact that you had bullets left in the tank, that you weren't overused for the last 6-7 years. I know that kind of stirred him up a little bit. So I know that's how Monmouth really started your process. Mm-hmm. As far as Catholic goes and all that, do you remember some of the events you went to? Was it individual camps at Catholic that got you looks? Like, how do you remember some of that?
I think for a lot of the schools that I got recruited by, it was a lot of individual camps at schools, not necessarily like I'm going to a perfect game event where there's 60 schools. Because for me, I was never that player. I was 5'11" at the time, 145 pounds. So
I'm 35.
so I wasn't a showcase player. I wasn't your prototypical, like, I'm going to go dominate BP, throw.
You weren't ranked 9 on PJJ? Come
on. Maybe 900th. But, so that wasn't me. Like, that wasn't something that I was going to thrive in. So it was a lot of communicating, reaching out to coaches, that schools that we communicated about that I thought I could play at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so just find those camps happen like around now, end of summer, early fall.
So you were strategic with it.
Yeah. So I think a lot of thing for kids now is you have to identify the place with all the stuff that you guys just talked about. How far?
Yeah.
Can I get in there grades wise? Like all.
Did it have your major stuff like that?
There's so many intangibles that go in just before baseball.
Right. So
I think I narrowed it down. Like I still have the Excel spreadsheet in my phone still of all those schools. There's probably like a list of 40. Yeah. Just everybody has their email, and you just send out some emails, and some people respond, some don't. And
what was your email? You remember? Did you attach a video to it?
Towards the end, Towards the end, Once we put together a good video. I think my senior year was like the real start of the whole video recruiting process. Yeah, sure.
And that was another question I was going to ask, and I love for people to understand this, and speak for the people in the back right now. When did you commit to Monmouth? And granted, we'll get into that story in a minute, but when did you decide you're going to go there?
The day before my high school graduation.
So all of these people that what do we say? Everyone breathe. Yeah, this is a D1 pitcher that had a solid career at an unbelievable university.
You were in no rush, right?
And it's
So I think I committed to Catholic, and then all of a sudden, Memorial Day weekend, I'm on a visit. We lost in the playoffs in high school ball. Yep. Memorial Day weekend, I went down to Monmouth, went on a tour, and I was like,
I like this school too. I like this school.
One of the nicest campuses.
I'm on the beach.
What town is Monmouth in?
West Long Branch.
Nice.
I think it's half a mile off the beach.
It literally does get ranked in like the top 10 nicest campuses in the country all the time.
Yeah, it's like top 10.
Yeah, that will get you there.
Yeah, that helps too, right? So now, right, one of the things I like to tell, we were talking about it a little bit before, Mitchell College, right? Shout out to that coach. and you're talking about, okay, maybe you're not a showcase player. Maybe you're not going to light up the metrics. Your radar gun was still what we said. We got up to 90, but it wasn't like you were throwing 96 like like a lot of these other dudes, right? So you have movement. You understand how to pitch, right? So we go down to Sacred Heart Camp. A bunch of schools there.
A lot of school, like places that got recruited were like specific schools, but there were other coaches there.
Exactly, which is what we've been doing a lot, right?
Just like the Stony Brook camp the other day.
Camp we just did. So now we go to Sacred Heart Camp, and you're playing shortstop like you do best, and you make a play in the hole. Guys gonna be safe at first. Give a little arm fake, and of course the kid, like you said, is on second base. Coach is doing the best job. He rounds. He thinks he's gonna score. Boom, you throw him out. I don't think the inning ended before the coach came over to me and says, I need that kid's information. I want to give him an offer. I want him on my team. So it's like that. That's one of my favorite stories. And that's a long time ago. And I'm getting older here, right? Yeah. And it's still something I see perfectly. I saw the coach lock eyes, say, I need this kid. Like, I don't want anyone else. So that is something different.
Because you can't teach that. That's baseball IQ.
And how do you stand out? We always have to go back to the how. How do you do this?
Because
how do you stand out?
Everyone could do the big things. They want the kids that could do the little things. Is that now it's getting even more. Kids struggle with that even more now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, going off that point, just something I've seen in college baseball, especially like these last few years as an older guy, and you kind of see a little bit the game differently for sure. Like the freshmen that come in, that can get a bunt down, hit and run. Like all the little things that like you think is like stupid. Like, I hit 450 in high school. I've never bunted in my life. Well, when you step on campus, you're a nobody until you prove that you're somebody.
Absolutely.
Right? So you got to contribute. However,
and the 9-hitter on a Division I, Division II team, it was a 4-hitter in high school. It was a 3-hitter in high school. So now you never bunted in high schould, but now in a big situation in college, you got to get that bunt down.
Yeah. And that's so refreshing to hear from a younger guy like you that just got done playing. Now you graduated. What'd you say? You graduate tomorrow, technically.
Technically, my master's graduation is tomorrow. I graduated with my undergrad last May.
Nice.
So it's cool, right? B1 guys.
Not a big deal.
We could read and stuff too. Man. It's pretty cool. So congrats.
Halfway educated,
yeah. But to hear a kid coming directly off of a D1 campus and or a program like that and talking about, as a freshman, be ready to contribute. You're not going to walk on campus and necessarily not everyone. Granted, we took a route where maybe we had a better opportunity than some, but now especially in the world of, again, older players and all this kind of stuff going on, you may only get X amount of at-bats. And if you can't execute a bunt, you can't execute an actual steal and get a good jump, but you were super fast in high school, dude, that catcher's a 1.79, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? You're getting thrown out.
And Jake, let them know, does a college coach really want a showcase guy? Or they want an overall great player?
I would say a lot of the recruiting classes that I've seen, just not from my school, others, if there's 8 kids in a recruiting class, there's probably 2 showcase kids.
Gotcha. Where they hope that the metrics add up.
Those kids are either great or they're cut. Yeah. There's really no in between, to be totally honest with you. But the kids that I've seen make the biggest impact are the ones who are committed to gain the respect of their teammates, doing the little things, and just overall wanting to contribute to winning.
And I love what he just said there too, right? So Jake was with us from 13U and up, right? Your first year with us wasn't actually with me, and then from I think 14U to college.
In high school, I played all year.
Right. So what do we always talk about, man? Like, we want these kids to understand how to get on campus, how to be a teammate, how to contribute from a different angle. Instead of, and I know the portal's a real thing, and I know that you can better your career, and that now there's so many financial things, and I want everyone to win. That's something we talked about last week. Long Island, we want everyone to win. But, man, if you can get on campus and be a 4 or 5 year guy, I just feel like you're going to get so much more out of it. I know it's a biased opinion, and I'm not telling people by any means, don't go into the portal. Don't try to better yourself into your situation.
You're going to make lifelong friends. You're going to have a great experience. Because if you're not making the major leagues, you want to have that great experience.
Yeah, and honestly, again, at UNH, we had guys recruited. We had guys, get signed and go into the draft, and I was the guy that had that opportunity. So, it's really cool to see and just hear a refreshing thing from you about that. So, kind of circling back to some of the recruitment process. Now, did you have to make the call I had to make to Catholic? Did you have to let them know that you're decommitting and going to Monmouth?
Sent an email.
Oh, wow.
I should not let you do that.
But it's funny, though, even at Catholic,
did you ever step foot on Catholic or no?
No. Well, no. I went down there for a visit.
But never as a student?
Not as a student, no. I went to an orientation, but not
Gotcha.
But even at Catholic, nothing was necessarily guaranteed.
Right. Especially D3.
So that was a lot of that was another part that played into my decision. It was there's nothing 100% guaranteed there.
Right.
So why not? Why not? I took a shot. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would recommend my path to many people.
Yep.
But it worked out for me, and I loved every second of it. But it was definitely different, and to to go to campus as a freshman and you know you're the 40th guy out of 40,
Right.
and you got to earn the respect of the rest of your teammates was something that.
And those senior college athletes are not going to take anything.
No.
Well, you just have to prove to them that you belong, and they want to win. Like, especially for me as a senior this past year, my true senior year, we had a rough year. So my grad year, all I want to do is win. I could care less if I had 2 appearances or 35.
Right.
Like if we won and we made it to conference tournament, won a championship, it was all gonna be worth it. So like, I want to help these freshmen or younger guys contribute and help them understand what it takes to win.
Right.
And like that was, I think as you get older in college, like that's the older guys just want to win, man.
Yeah,
so
because
like
they want that great experience, they want that ring.
And want a ring, want a dog pile, want
because they'll have that the rest of their life.
Yeah, and you know what? You're going to do it. And again, I know this is a new age where that team that might be in the Super Region on ESPN might be 5 transfers from the year before they're 22 years old. But there's still a culture that has to be built, and there still has to be the foundation of some of the younger guys just grinding in the weight room with those guys. So really cool that you have a good perspective on it and a really good depth. So now with Monmouth, just for people to understand, and I worked this out with you guys, and the coach said to me straight up, listen, we're going to give him a roster spot for the fall. And he said, look, Ev, as long as he doesn't fall on his face, like we love him, he's going to get the opportunity. I don't think I went that in depth with you. I wanted you to go there and earn it and all that. But you did. And you said you don't recommend that. He bet on himself. And it's a scary proposition for a coach. You're going to get through this soon, man, because there's REIT schools and all that kind of stuff. It was really scary for me, man. Like I felt like every time, every day that went by and I would text you, how's it going? Like making sure I would text Coach, we call him Coach F or whatever, a little bit, like, how's Jake doing? Dude, he's fine. I was bugging out. I'm like, dude, I know if he gets to the real opportunity, which you did, man, and that's kudos to you. So, yes, maybe I'm not going to recommend that, even for my own health. I don't need to go through that again with someone I care about. But it's cool to see another way about it. This isn't like a surefire, hey, I throw 94, I have 17 offers. He went from a D2, D3 shortstop, second baseman
now
to
pitching D1.
a D1 pitcher. And now when did you really start contributing to the ball club? Sophomore, junior year?
So junior, and to jump off what you guys were just saying, one of the reasons I was like, all right, Monmouth might be the spot is Coach at the time, who was our pitching coach and I was a freshman.
So should we pause for a second?
All right. The big thing was, like, I got on campus, and he was just like, he put me on a meal plan. He's like, you're having 4 meals a day. I don't care if you go to McDonald's 4 times. Like, you need to eat.
Sure.
And that was a big thing. And then the whole weight program, long toss, and that stuff. So then COVID happened my freshman year. They played 15 games. I didn't go to any of them. It's not a part of, like,
the
any
actual
of the
club kind of thing.
Yeah. So they're all on the road, and, like, you're sitting in your dorm room watching the games. You're like, dude, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't fun. Like, I love my guys, and I'm rooting for them, but, like, I want to play.
Yeah.
And then my second year, we played conference only, so now every game is super important. You can't
develop any guys.
Yeah, so
why was that? Because of COVID?
Yeah, so COVID, the MAC was conference only, and for people who don't know college baseball, the midweeks are kind of the time for younger guys to shine.
Yep.
That's when especially arms, like a lot of midweek stars are freshmen, sophomores, and you're earning your weekends.
That's their audition for the weekends.
So I never had like that opportunity. So we're playing 4 games on a weekend. I got an All-American. We had 4. So our 4 starters were 2 draft picks, Cape Cod Pitcher of the Year, currently the 15th ranked prospect in the Astros system.
Wow.
Another kid was a freshman All-American coming back. He was a senior. And the other kid was a finalist for John Olerud Player of the Year, which is
you're not pitching, Jake.
Which is the best two-way
sure.
player in the country. And then on top of that, we had a bullpen arm who the next year goes to Cincinnati and dominates.
Right.
So there was no innings. Like, not even for me. Like, there were kids who...
And that's your sophomore year, saying?
Yes, that's my sophomore year.
All a conference.
So then my junior year, innings free up, and all of a sudden, like, I gotta be a guy. Yeah. And it kind of my first outing was against North Houston. My first legitimate appearance was 2 2/3 scoreless in Cary, North Carolina at the
USA Complex.
USA Complex
field.
Against LIU.
Oh,
so that was a little like, all right, I live 20 minutes away from you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool come up right there.
Yeah, I beat them. We won on a walk off, and
that's awesome.
And then it went.
You came in relief then?
Yeah. Nice. So I was reliever my whole college career. I was probably the most prototypical reliever you'll ever find. I had 47 career appearances in like 55 innings.
Right.
So
wow.
I was just a straight up matchup guy. But yeah, I think for kids now, it's just like, I think you have to value the coach's honesty with you. Like some coach, like I personally wouldn't trust some coach who like hypes you up and tells you all this. Like, I know that kind of worked for you guys. Like,
yeah, but only to a degree.
But so like,
yeah, you got to watch out for the salesman guys.
Yeah, so like, and you also got to look at roster. Like, if you're a shortstop, right, and their middle infielders are both juniors, going to be seniors, started the last 2 years, and the coach is telling you you're going to start every game, like
yeah,
he's
very doubtful.
Right,
like,
right.
So
because let the audience know, like the starters don't come out.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Unless they get hurt, they
Right.
never come out.
No.
Position player wise, like I would say every year there's about 2, maybe 3 spots that are consistently up for grabs throughout like the whole fall and the
and midweeks don't really don't pertain to position guys. Like I played every inning of my career for 4 years. There were times where it was 27 degrees out. I'm like, it's a Wednesday game that I at the time I want to win, but like, hey, if coach said go, let the freshmen.
You're
go,
in there.
I was doing it. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, no, that's really good advice, dude. I appreciate that because again, it's just as we go through this, like as much as we could always talk about ourselves, it's so much better to hear from the guys going through it that had just gone through it.
You said you were a matchup guy. Who'd you match up against? Righties. Why you threw in the SC2 seamer?
Yeah, sinker, slider, double play ball.
Yeah, a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, that was pretty much.
I would love to play shortstop behind you. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
a lot of ground balls to turn. So. Yeah, dude, this was awesome. It was unbelievable catching up with you. I know we were talking about it kind of jokingly. We could do this for 2 hours, and eventually, hopefully, our audience will give us that opportunity and really hang with us. But
thanks for coming, Jake. This is great, man.
I just want to thank you guys, and like this is awesome, and like anything to help players now and the program as a whole. Is awesome.
I'm starting to think through this, and this is kind of like live on air with this kind of thing, but I know that you had a really good workout regimen with Monmouth, and I think that we should bring back an episode maybe 5-6 down the road. We bring everybody back and take 10 minutes to go over what your day looked like. And that's another question we did get. And
that's what the people want to hear.
They do. And they think they want to hear it. They think they want to hear about
They might get a little nervous.
They think they want to hear about 5 a.m. lifts. They think they want to hear about, the like you said, it sounds, we have a 3 o'clock home game. This is great. I can sleep in. No. You got class. You still got that. And you might have indies at 11:30 where you got to get your swings in. Then you might have this at 12:30. Then the on-field BP. And listen,
college baseball warm-ups, 3.5 hours.
It's longer than the game.
Yeah,
longer than the game for sure. So we'll offer and invite you back to kind of tell the Monmouth workout story and stuff and compare and contrast D1, D2, D3.
Yeah, that would be
some
fun.
JUCO guys. I know this is a popular time for kids to talk about post-grad years, gap years, where because of the portal, because of how old everybody is, maybe do I take a year off? And again, you gained all that weight on campus under their supervision. So again, something I'm going to want you to dive into a little bit for some of the kids that are considering, do I reclass after I graduate and take a year off and just add 15 pounds of weight and make sure I can reset my interest from schools? It was cool that you did it on campus under the supervision because that might be different than a path somebody else will take. So, again, just bringing on different stories, different ways that it works out. A D2, D3 middle infielder with a commit to a top program ends up as a guy with almost 50 career appearances at a really good Division I school on the mound. So you aren't quite Jacob deGrom, but hey, you're a B1 Jacob deGrom in my eyes, man. Shortstop the pitcher. So again, pleasure catching up. Again, this is episode 2, man.
Yep.
I'm loving it. Hopefully our tech and our digs will improve.
Thanks for coming, Jake.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Al.
It's been great. Producers, love you guys.
Thanks, guys.